Welcome to Circulus, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons homebrew campaign. With me today are a few individuals. We have Akari, friend of puppies, who plays Vex'Sarin, also friend of puppies. We have Tom, the Tree Slayer, playing Panqarim. And I haven't thought of something really cool about Ari, who is played by Matt. But I'll come up with something soon. Oh, the Goblin Freezer. Maker of popsicles. Okay, so at the end of our previous adventure, our heroes managed to slay or scare off as many goblins as they could, leaving the goblin warrens empty. Then, through comedic inspiration, managed to create a wonderful Obaim Metalcaster shaped silhouette in a snowbank while also causing an avalanche. And a good time was had by all.
Right of
And we all managed to get home safe and sound. And then the campaign ended and everyone had a happy-go-lucky day. Good night, everybody. In reality, everyone went almost right to bed just because you walked through the night and that was really fun. Except it wasn't. Ari, after he arrived, did a few rituals, some spell casting, some investigating, and shared his information that he gathered, which was pretty much everything that was discovered during the adventure with Lord Idris. So he's on the up and up for this. And the following day, during the morning meal at the Blue Bucket Inn, Punk is over by himself for one reason or another. And a mug appears next to your character. And you hear a familiar voice say, "Hey there, Shorty."
I look over.
You see old Bob.
Bob. How are you?
I can't complain. Doesn't do any good.
So what can I do for you?
I hear you've been doing favors for Lord Idris.
Yeah.
I have some friends who would also appreciate a favor or two. They're willing to pay.
What would be the favor?
Well, as you know, Lord Idris has his steward collect a variety of adventures and quests for people such as yourselves so they don't go around killing people in their boredom. I don't know if that's worked for you or not, but I'm sure you know that these quests are made available.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that they always add in just for the heck of it, where you're supposed to go north and talk to some crazy old elf in a tower somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out that crazy old elf in a tower likes making star charts. I got a friend that wants a copy of the most recent ones.
Okay.
You don't need to steal them. You might even give them freely. He's done it before. I've talked to adventurers before about this. So, if he's got some copies he's willing to give you, ask for them. Pay for them. Whatever you pay, my friend can double it.
Can I know who your friend is?
If he's interested in letting you know, sure. This is something that he once kept down on the down low, though.
Okay. Alright. Star charts? Alright. I'll take a look.
Sure. And if you don't get them, no hard feelings, no problems. But if the opportunity arises, if you can steal your party in that direction, we'll make it worth your while.
Okay.
All right. Good talking to you, Shorty. And
See
he
ya.
goes off. He leaves the tankard of ale that he put on the counter behind.
Okay.
It's still full.
I'm not touching it. So.
Roll a perception check.
All right. Okay. Natural 20.
There's 3 gold in the bottom of the tankard.
All right. We'll take the gold.
So Ponk just like reaches right down into a full tankard of ale, pushing it all over the table, and grabs the 3 gold and nonchalantly just shoves it into a pouch somewhere.
Yep.
So casual. So casual.
I guess I should have tried my sleight of hand to see how how dry I could keep my hand getting.
No, because of how big the tankards are and how small you are, you almost fall off your kiddie chair in the process.
My booster chair.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's so much joy.
All right, pocket the money and just hold on to that knowledge.
Okay. So, sun goes up. Everyone's had breakfast. Everyone's going through their morning things. Once again, Obaim goes off on his own business. Last time he went off on his own business, he was visiting a dwarven church in the area. You assume that he's doing the same. Fenix is, well, let's just say he's embracing his paladinhood and he's doing some praying because metagaming, he's level 3 now, and he has cool things he can do. But he kind of has to learn how to do them with guidance, so he's praying to his dragon god and trying to get on the up and up with that. At least that's how we're metagaming Sin and Logan not being on Discord right now because they're actually hanging out with family. Who does that?
Man.
Ignoring that I was an hour late to the game today because I was hanging out with family, but never mind about that.
Hypocrite.
It's only hypocrite if I think there's something wrong with it. Meanwhile, there's a cat on my dice tray. Socket, I cannot roll a D socket. That is not a thing I can do. And you are not rolling.
He could be a D. He can be a D2, heads or tails.
It's a loaded dice. They always land on their feet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the adventurers who happen to be not going off and doing other things, however, decide they're gonna go... Actually, no. Why am I deciding for you? What do you do today? Although, keep in mind, you did just go and wipe out a goblin warren, and that was one of the quests for which you might be paid handsomely.
Yes, I do have that. I still have that goblin head. Is it animated yet, or is it still
well,
just a head?
You put you take one of your arrows and you put it in your pack to see if it's animated, and then you pull the arrow out, and the goblin head is attached to the arrow by its teeth.
Lovely.
You now have a goblin head on a stick.
On his stick.
Silence!
I carefully put the goblin head back in the bag.
Do we need to look at the map to find the golden question mark to go turn the quest in?
That would be Coomridge Keep itself. The keep itself,
yes,
because that's where you went to talk with the steward who gave you the quest in the first place.
So we go turn in the quest.
Yes. It's the dwarf guy, right?
Yes, Geckard Irongut is the steward.
There he is. Geckard Irongut. Okay, so we need to go see Deckard. I need to give him the goblin head to show that there were goblins, and we were only supposed to get evidence of goblins. We dealt with the goblins, so maybe we'll get a bonus.
Yeah.
Y'all never know.
It is in the realm of possibilities. Okay, so you go to the keep. The guards just wave you right in. They offer directions to where the steward has his office, even though you don't need them. But it's kind of like how
They assume you're not that bright.
No, the feeling that Vex gets specifically is sort of like how if someone who looks a bit shady enters a store and one of the employees comes over and asks if they can help them with anything. Mm-hmm. They're kind of directing you so you're not just wandering around the keep unescorted.
They're profiling the gnome.
Fair enough, yeah. They're being a little, judgmental of those adventures, but that's fair enough. There are some rude ones out there.
Not only are there some rude ones, you know for a fact due to your most recent escapades out in the wilds that several families, and based on what you found in the Goblin Warrens, a considerable number of guards have met their grisly end recently.
Mm-hmm. So they're on high alert.
Yeah, you could say that. Matter of fact, give me a perception check, all three of you. Actually, no, because Tom, your character, not Tom, Matt, Ari isn't here yet. He wasn't hanging out with them. You're still going through whatever you're doing in the morning, in the lap of luxury with fine dining and fine Chardonnay served with your breakfast.
Ooh, excellent. Yeah, I can deal with that.
In a nice vinaigrette sauce.
Natural 20.
I got it too.
Okay, so Ponk notices that this is a stone keep. And there seems to be a large number of blue roses. Also, you look down and you see that you have feet, which is nice because in some RPGs you don't have feet rendered. So
I will wiggle my toes.
You can't even see the polygons. So you're kind of impressed with how much you're noticing. Vex, on the other hand, notices a cat getting in the way again.
I'm allergic. No, run!
The DM manifested an alcove, and you see he's struggling with a cat that just keeps jumping up on his desk over and over again. He says, "Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain." He pulls the curtain closed for the alcove. But you also you think there's fewer guards around than the last time you were in here. So not only are they seeming to be on high alert, there's fewer guards to be on high alert. Okay, so you get to the steward's office, and they show you right in. Geckard says, "Hello, good sirs. What can I do for you?"
I take the goblin head out on the arrow and just stick it on his desk. We found some goblins.
I see.
We did actually. We were supposed to find evidence of goblins, but we just dealt with them.
Okay.
We also plugged up the cave that they were in, causing a mini avalanche and plugging it up completely.
Fascinating. Well, you have me at a bit of a predicament. The quest was just to find evidence that the goblins were there, and so the payment that was offered for that was for the amount of effort that would be put into discovering sign of goblins. However, you've obviously done considerably more. While I'm not personally authorized to adjust the payment, I do believe that Lord Idris is up and holding court with some individuals already. I'm gonna go ask him about this, if you're okay with that.
How big's this office space, by the way?
It's big enough that a party of adventurers can very comfortably hang out in here. It's almost as if he has this office be specifically this size for that purpose.
I take the ball out and just roll it around for Shepard.
Okay. He motions to the goblin head. He's like, May I take this with me?
Oh, go for it.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
It does seem to bite, so be careful.
Oh, I've done this before. So he picks it up by the scruff of whatever hair is like coming out of the ears, puts it under his arm in such a way that the mouth is like opening and closing. The arrow falls to the floor. You've got your arrow back.
Yeah, I take my arrow back.
It's got a few teeth marks on it, but it still looks like it'll fly true. The goblin head is just opening and closing its mouth over and over again. It sounds like castanets. Like, all right, back in a jiff. He goes out.
You better not cheat us.
I've got
Okay.
this, don't worry.
Okay, so you two are waiting in the steward's office. The door was not locked. He just walked out and let the door close from inertia behind him. You're not getting the sense that you're prisoners here, in case you were wondering. Okay,
Could be sneaky and follow him.
Switching over to Ari. Ari, as you are finishing your meal, you are once again greeted by Lord Idris, and he says, your friends have arrived. Some of them, at least. They are about to collect the bounty on your little goblin escapade. If you don't mind, I would like you to be present when I talk to them about that.
Sure, certainly.
Okay. So the two of you go over to another room, which appears to be some type of conference room. There is, or maybe even a war room. There is a largish table in the middle. It doesn't look like it's designed for people to sit at. And the table is mostly filled with an illusion that is basically a 3D map of Coomridge Valley.
An illusion. What are you hiding?
Sir.
It's actually kind of neat. There's little bridges and stuff, and you can see the smoke coming out of, like animated smoke coming out of townhouses. And,
Is there a little train or anything going around?
no train. However, there are... Sorry?
So what you're saying is they have better holographic technology than we actually have.
Hey, it's magic, man. You can do whatever you want with it.
I believe the ability to cast illusionary spells is like a level 1 spell. So
Silent image.
Yeah, so there's no sound coming out of this. It's I'm not even gonna have you do an Arcana check. You can tell this is a modified version of it. It doesn't look like it's something that will wink out of existence. It seems to be persistent.
Somebody used a.
Sorry.
Yeah, somebody used a higher level spell slot.
Something like that. You also notice that there's little little 3D skulls hovering above certain homes on the map. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 15 plus. Where is perceptions under wisdom? 3, 18.
Okay, so 2 of the houses that have little skulls hovering above them, you recognize from your travels as the houses that you investigated previously. Where
they had seen the scarecrow and the other home with the girl who had been reported missing.
Yes, but those aren't the only 2 houses with skulls.
Right, yeah. But he had said there were other deaths, and these were just the 2 most recent, I believe.
No, actually. What he told you was there was a certain number of guards who had died, but he only told you about 2 families. At this point, there's more than 2 houses that have little skulls. There are also some houses that have a greenish tint to them, and some houses that have a reddish tint to them. The houses that have a greenish tint seem to be more along the extremities further from the main road that goes east-west-ish through all of Coomridge Valley. And the ones that have a red tinge to them tend to be closer to the road or one of the major settlements in Coomridge, which would be Coomridge Keep, the village, or city, rather, the town in the middle, which I'm not looking at my map, so I don't remember the name of. Clear Spring. And Orestrike as well, which is the Dwarven settlement all the way in the northeast, tend to have more of a reddish tinge for those houses. But there's some variation. You can't draw a straight line around the houses that are reddish tinged versus houses that are greenish tinged.
Right.
Okay. So, Lord Idris tells you that your friends will be there shortly. Meanwhile, cut to Vex and Punk. A guard pops in and says, Lord Idris would actually like to talk with you personally about your reward. If you could follow me, please.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. It is I have to ask. May I pet the puppy?
You may pet the puppy.
He pets the puppy.
Jared gonna get us so much stuff.
Okay, this is a low-ranking guard, and he looks kind of young. You're not entirely sure he's ever shaved. You're not entirely sure he's ever needed to shave.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just picturing the guy on The Simpsons, the teenage guy with that pitch voice.
More or less,
yeah.
yes. More or less. But he pets the puppy. He's very happy, and then he leads you on your merry way to the exact same room that I described previously. So you see Ari hanging out in there, which is not too surprising because you already knew he was a guest in the castle. And you see Lord Idris there, who you had not previously seen him as someone who was introduced as Lord Idris. The last time the two of you saw him, he was simply wearing a guard tabard and standing behind the commander of the guard. But in his current regalia, it's very obvious that he is a nobleman and a wizard of no small standing as well. And he's standing on the other side of this table that has the illusionary 3D map on top of it.
As we walk in, can I just roll my eyes after seeing more nobles?
Well, there's just two of us.
I don't know if you can, but
Yeah,
you
but I didn't know
certainly
he was
try.
noble.
Roll to roll.
I didn't know he was.
You don't have to actually roll. I just like to say.
Swear to God, if I get a 20. 10.
I would have laughed if you got a 1. So
Yeah.
you got to roll your eyes, and by looking up, you miss a wrinkle in the carpet, and you trip over your own feet, and the wrinkle and land flat on your face.
I'm okay with this.
But you didn't roll a 1, so that didn't happen. But I would laugh if that had been the case. Shepard would have just come over and licked your face to add insult to injury.
Probably.
It would have been
Ari will-
terrible.
Ari will get up and kind of greet both of them, shake their hands if they'll let him. Welcome, gentlemen.
I'm sorry?
I said, welcome, gentlemen.
Well, at the same time you were saying that, Akari was saying something.
I just said I'm courteous towards you, so I shake your hand back.
Okay.
All right.
How does the gnome feel?
Just kind of looks at him. Hey,
Okay.
he's not
Lord
really
Idris?
touchy-feely.
Yeah. Lord Idris, this is Panqarim Darkstone and Vex'Sarin, and he will indicate with a hand gesture which name belongs to whom.
Okay. Yes, I do believe we've met once before.
Oh.
By the way, Gekrit is also in the room. He's just hanging out to the side. Okay. I do have some concerns. Would any of you wish to explain exactly why we now have a powerful goblin shaman killing guards and families in my kingdom?
We can always clear the
What?
snow out and bring them back if you'd like.
No, the lady, the shaman escaped with the children.
Yes. And since she escaped and was given reason to strike out against us, she she has been making good use of her abilities.
Right.
May I remind you, and he seems like he's being very calm. May I remind you that the quest was merely to find where the goblins were, or at the very least confirm that they were actually there and it was not just a bunch of drunken farmer stories. We have dealt with goblins here in the past, but we need to do so tactfully because, as you have learned, I'm sure, dead bodies have a habit of coming back to bite us, literally and figuratively. They had an escape route. A show of force would have had them flee, likely not to return. We could have also bargained with them and escorted them out. However, now we have a goblin shaman trapped in our kingdom, killing any she encounters. So I say again, I have some concerns and am interested in your explanations.
I, as a player, am not 100%. I know we saw her leave, escorting the children, but I wasn't clear on, like, why we couldn't get to her.
Because you decided to free each other from her entanglement.
Nature's wrath. And by the time we got free, she was out. We no longer could see where she was.
Yeah,
Yes.
she got around the corner.
Okay.
And this is a bit metagamish, but to clarify exactly how this happened, as you went through this cave system, you allowed opportunities for goblins to circle around behind you on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
So they actually did that on more than one occasion, and it wasn't always obvious because you were really one-shotting most of the goblins you encountered. But any chance a goblin that was fighting you had to run, they ran.
Right.
So when she had the opportunity to try to get out of there with anyone she could save, she did. It just so happened that the only ones she could save were the children, and you were blocking the way for her to escape into deeper caverns. The only way she could get to freedom was by going into Coomridge.
Okay. Because, well, then the avalanche inside the mountain was triggered to cover the chieftain's escape.
Yes.
And so she wasn't going to be able to get out that way regardless because of his triggering of that mechanism. All right.
Unless she had some way of moving that rock.
Yeah, well, if she's a powerful enough shaman, maybe. But she wasn't headed that direction that we know. She went else.
At the time that she ran past, remember that Vex'Sarin was in the hole.
Okay.
And two of you were right in front of it and wrapped in vines.
So right.
Remember,
so she had,
can I come out of the hole now?
Yeah, but she had no way to get past. Yeah.
hole.
She had no way to get past us at that time. Right?
Well, she could have fought you, but everyone who tried fighting you pretty much got killed.
Right. We didn't track her anywhere.
Out of the front door.
Yeah, she went out the front door. None of you tried to track her.
Right.
And
but that was
actually covered for her escape because that avalanche also covered the tracks for anything in the area.
Right. I was trying to figure out, okay, if she didn't leave out the back door the way the chieftain did, which door did she leave out of?
The one you came in.
Front door.
The front door. That's what I didn't. That's what I couldn't figure out. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. Wait a minute. Did she leave out some side exit that we missed? And I didn't remember one. So.
Well, you also didn't look for any secret doors at all throughout your entire adventure. So she could have gone through a secret door if one had existed. But
Right.
Because every time I went to find one, I found a latrine.
Yeah, he found a latrine every time I looked for a
you
secret
didn't
door.
look through secret doors. I told you there's a doorway there, and you looked in and you saw, oh, when you gotta go, they all went here.
Okay. Ari will look a little sheepish. Sorry. Not really used to dealing with goblins on a whole. Very little of that ever came up at Wizards College. I'm concerned. I mean, I'm concerned for the people here, clearly, but I don't know where she could have gone. She fled with children. She had to be hampered. She couldn't have gotten far. I don't suppose it would be too difficult to locate her if she hasn't left the valley because of the winter, the snows.
Question to the DM: how big is this valley?
It's a smallish kingdom. You could make it from one side of the kingdom to the other in maybe 4 days, especially since the roads are plowed pretty well. So 4 days travel walking from one end to the other for its longest.
So about 30 or 40 miles from one end to the other.
Yes. It's small enough that if it was any smaller, it would probably not be self-sufficient.
So, Vex, you're going to have to get fairly close to probably find goblins with your ability.
Within 5 miles.
5 miles, yeah.
Favorite anime? Do it within 5 miles.
So, at this point, the only response he's getting is from Ari.
Yeah,
Because I've turned white as a sheet and I'm just trying to think. That's what Vex has done. He's turned white as a sheet and he's just trying to think.
Punk is really trying not to say anything.
Dawson Reese, Steve Powell, Angus Owen, Cameron and Leela Morgan.
We get
They're
it.
Twins.
We get it. Stop. So we go kill the shaman for you, okay?
No. I will hunt the shaman.
Fine.
I will find her, and I will stop her.
Okay.
What I want you to do is remember that we are a very closed kingdom here. We are very, very tight-knit. And all actions have consequences.
They sure do.
And I would very much appreciate it if in the future, if you are asked to find something and just let us know, that you not decide to take additional actions of your own. Everyone roll a perception check, except for Ari. Ari, I want you to roll, I'm going to say an Arcana check for you.
Okay. That's a 14.
16.
15.
It's a 20 Arcana check.
Okay. So, Vex and Ponk, you probably already, as players, already realized this, but he is full of barely contained rage right now. You get the sense that this is, well, Vex in particular, this is probably the only noble you've ever met that is actually upset that people in his kingdom are dying. But you also get the feeling that if he wanted to wipe the floor with you right now, you would currently be a blood smear. Ari?
Yeah.
You don't have that feeling. You know for a fact.
Yeah,
if he wasn't as normally kind-hearted as he normally is, if he was more like the aristocracy where you're from,
yeah,
You would not be having this conversation without at least one of you strapped to a table and various cutting implements arranged in front of you for you to see how rusty they are.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not happy.
No, he is not happy.
We overstepped our bounds, clearly. However, we did so in hoping to eliminate a goblin threat. I admittedly did not realize how familiar your military or militia was in dealing with goblins. It has been my book experience only that goblins are typically just viewed as much more like vermin, and any reason for them to be gone, most people would be happy with.
Over 100 years ago, we treated them in a very similar manner. Unfortunately, cleanup has made it a bit more difficult. And it's worth noting that I am aware of what your intentions were. It is your intentions, and those alone, that are making sure that you are not currently rotting in a dungeon right now.
Understood.
And he's addressing all three of you. He's not singling Ari out.
Yeah.
Geckard will see to your payment for discovering where the goblins were hiding. I bid you good day.
You can keep the head. I turn and walk out.
The head isn't in the room, by the way.
Yeah.
Can keep it anyway.
You can keep the payment. I'll walk out.
I'm taking my money. I don't know about you.
I don't know that I was actually paid to do this, but I was received.
Just killed
you went
a lot
and-
of people.
Yeah,
You
I
can
had.
keep the payment.
It doesn't matter to him. I got payment in another fashion.
Oh yeah. Your characters aren't aware of this, but Ari got 3 spells from Idris out of this.
Mm.
Yeah. Money I would have gotten
not
would
so much
have
for
gone in.
killing the goblins and Idris
But for the
is curious
information
about the
provided.
results, but for keeping an eye on everyone. He honors his debts.
Yeah. Well, Ari doesn't intend to go collect any gold.
Neither do I.
I have 2 other things at this point I would like to do, but I'm not sure I can do them at the keep.
No, yeah, I would like to go back to the tavern, into my room.
Is the
alone.
tavern... The tavern's in, like, the general keep area?
It gets confusing because the
Yeah.
town of Coomridge Keep is a more recent thing. We're talking a place that's several thousand years old, but the town of Coomridge Keep was built around Coomridge Keep.
Gotcha.
So there's the keep itself. So when I'm talking
Right.
about entering the castle structure, I say the keep itself.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are just going into the town, I just say Coomridge Keep.
Okay. So the tavern's in town. And
Yes.
I when we say Coomridge Keep, I keep getting confused, thinking we're in the keep, but the town is named Coomridge Keep, and there are shops
Yes.
and stuff. And okay,
That is actually, believe it or not, that's intentional. Because guess what? Places are confusing sometimes.
yeah,
When I get back to my room, can
Yes.
I channel my primeval awareness to detect goblins within 5 miles?
You most certainly can. Oh, to backtrack just a little bit, Ponk, since you said I'm taking the money, Geckard does hand you a pouch that you later look in and discover that it has 20 gold.
Okay.
Ari intends to head into the town section of Coomridge Keep. I have the dress that he recovered out of the dressing room, the wardrobe. I'm not sure I'll find a buyer here, but that's his intent, at least for part of the morning, to perhaps see what the dress is valued, or to see if he could find even a buyer here.
Okay, so how do you go about trying to find a buyer? Do you pick the random
Well,
and walk up and down? Do you
No, I will start with the guards. I will ask for directions to either a tailor, dressmaker, clothier, somebody who might have somebody who makes clothing.
So the guard looks at you with a confused expression, and then points directly behind you at a shop that's labeled Cherry Owens Seamstress and Consignment Shop.
Oh, well, thank you, sir.
It was literally right behind you when you asked the guard.
I have no idea of the layout of the town, so that's fine.
The letters actually appear to be enchanted to glow in the dark.
Oh, well, that's even better. Okay, then I will take a short stroll across the street and visit the dressmaker, or whatever, or the consignment shop.
Okay, so you go in there, and you're greeted, and I assume you say, "Hey, I've got this dress. What do you give me for it?"
Yep, basically.
Okay. Well, she offers you 7 gold for it.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a fair deal. He will sell it to her.
Okay, you got 7 gold, and you are now short 1 dress.
Not that I intended to wear it. Now, the harder one might be the magic sword I'm holding. It was spoils from the goblins. Ari intends to pass it towards Panq or Fenix, depending on which one of them might want it. It's a magical weapon, thus useless to him because he cannot swing it with any real efficiency. Since Fenix has off having a religious experience,
This is true. That's what I said.
I will then proceed to attempt to follow or find Panq once he's collected his gold.
Oh, he collected it while you were on your way out the door. He walked over. He literally walked over to Geckard, held out his hand, and Geckard put the bag in his hand, and he's thanks. All right.
Yep.
Just a point for the DM. I attuned to that scimitar during the long rest, by the way.
Oh, I assumed. By the way, when
Ari
you
did not.
when you try to see if there's any goblins within 5 miles, you don't find any goblins within 5 miles.
I didn't find any at all.
Not within 5 miles, no.
I'm not going after any goblins. He said he'd take care of it. I consider it closed. Move on to something else.
I do too. Where would Panq have gone after collecting his fees?
Probably back to the tavern. If I just sit in the bar.
Okay. Then Ari will approach you. He will bring the scimitar with him. Basically, kind of put it on the table in front of you. And
This is the second time someone's just put something on the bar in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Today.
I'm heading down to the dining area, by the way, since that didn't work.
this is a spoil of our sojourn. I cannot use such a weapon. I don't know of your particular skills or training, but it is a magical or enchanted weapon that should increase your accuracy and perhaps deliver more deadly blows with it. Since I cannot use it, I would bequeath it to you, good sir.
He's just gonna kind of look at him. So you're pretty good buddies with Lord What's-His-Face.
Well, I was until our debacle with the goblins. I don't feel he is no longer my good friend.
So is he gonna kick you out of his house? You're gonna have to come slum it with us?
Perhaps not. While I may be in his disfavor, to kick me out of his house, as it were, would be perhaps a breach of etiquette that he may not wish to do.
This is a out of character question. What would be what would be the advantage taking this? I mean, because like, what basically what does it do? I guess
It's a 1d6 plus
+1. It's a +1
plus
scimitar.
1d6 plus 1 weapon. You would then also add your modifier. So
And your wrench we're treating as a mace, so that's also 1d6.
okay.
So the difference would be this one would do 1 point more damage on average, and you'd be slightly better at hitting things with it.
Okay.
You might still want to use your wrench either for sentimental reasons or because there are some monsters where bludgeoning damage is more effective than slashing damage.
Yeah.
I eat skeletons.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is, would he so we could like put it on his carry it on his back or something?
what you can do with it is you can have your mace on your main hand and then that on your offhand, and as a bonus action, do an offhand strike and not add your modifier.
Well, but he's got a shield now. He's gonna use a shield.
Oh,
you could still carry, Tom. You could still carry both weapons.
Yeah.
As part of an action when you attack, you can normally draw a weapon.
Right.
So let's say you're using Let's say you're using the wrench, and you decide, you know what, I want to switch to the scimitar. Well, you can kind of drop the wrench, draw the scimitar, and still attack in the same turn.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna take it. I was just trying to think. How is he gonna, like the wrench? Like I'm kind of picturing he kind of has it like hanging on his belt or something.
You march into battle with it tied by the hilt to the end of your monkey wrench.
Okay. No, back to character. Like he'll just kind of like put his hand on the sword and just pull it over and just not say anything. So
it will begin to glow when you hold it.
Are there goblins present?
No, the weapon. Yeah. No. I just got that.
I'm going to name it Sting. So
if you want to, but that's the extra side ability for this particular scimitar, the scimitar that you have now and the one that Vex has. If you are holding it by the hilt, like you're going to strike something with it, it glows.
Okay.
Now this glow is bright enough that it would pretty much mess with your dark vision.
Yeah.
But it looks cool.
Yeah. All right, so he'll take it.
at this point, I came
Very
into
good.
the dining room and he's come when I sit down.
I'll nod to Vex.
Couldn't find her.
What did you do?
I just channeled to try and find her. Couldn't find her.
If she's a sufficient skill, she may be able to deceive magical scrying. She is a goblin.
She could be right behind you, disguised as a deep gnome.
Somehow I doubt that.
I don't think we should get involved anymore.
I agree. The Lord seems to be rather perturbed at our assistance.
Then I'm not concerned about making him mad. But I'm not gonna make him even more mad.
Oh.
He said that he'll take care of it. He'll take care of it. Let's move on to something else.
Indeed. I've spent much time with the Lord, Idris. I am unaware of any other particular activities that would require any attention.
Well,
We've got a few.
Yeah, there was the go find the elf, or go check up on him.
The elf.
Yeah, we've got the Old Marwood, which is the elf.
Yeah.
And the undead with no eyes, the
The undead with no eyes?
Yeah.
Another quest?
That one's gonna be an overarching one. It's gonna take a lot of time to find out.
Yeah.
The elf, what was his name?
Marwood.
Marwood Tower is not far from here, as I understand it.
As far as I know, that's where we have to go check in on him.
If you're going specifically by, actually no, hold on, because you all saw that map.
Yeah.
So
I have it downloaded.
Everyone, no, I'm talking about the 3D map.
Right, the 3D map in the room. Yeah.
Give me a straight up wisdom check.
All of us?
Yeah, because you were all in the room and you all saw the map.
I got a 14.
10.
17.
Okay, so I'm going to chalk this up to Vex being a ranger and therefore interested in seeing the lay of the land. So the map was something of interest to you, even if you wouldn't deign to acknowledge the fact that it was there thanks to a noble. But you did notice Marwood's tower standing out. It did have a reddish glow to it, like many of the houses did. And while it's maybe a half a day or even less journey to the north, the issue is the elevation is much higher than where you are now. So you have your doubts that this would take just half a day's walking because you've got to go up, not just north.
Would that be considered rough terrain?
And yes,
or
it would.
Climbing equipment.
Then when traveling as a group for an hour or more, rough terrain does not slow us down because of my natural explorer feat.
But will we need to climb?
That's a good question.
What was the name of the guy who was giving out the quests? The one who paid Panqarim. What was his name again?
Deckard Irongut. And by the way, when you were claiming quests, for each quest you claimed, where you said, yeah, we'll do that, he handed you a copy of the instructions on a piece of paper.
Yep. I've got them written down.
Okay. I wasn't there for that, so.
So, roll a straight up wisdom check, Akari.
Even with my frickin' natural, even with my bloody advantage, 2 natural ones in a row.
Okay, so you don't even remember that you have the paper on you.
2 frickin' natural ones in a row, goddammit.
Ponk, I'll let you roll for a wisdom check too, but at disadvantage because your character doesn't tend to care about pieces of paper.
That's right. 9.
Okay, so you don't think anything of the piece of paper either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Words.
So, yeah. So you know that this is at higher elevation. You don't know if you're going to be like climbing a sheer cliff face. One of you loses your grip and you're hanging by the rope and don't let go! I've got to cut the rope! No, don't cut the rope! It's okay, I've got Featherfall memorized. Oh, okay.
I need to buy some more rope anyway, because I used up my rope tying up zombies.
Well, the prices are standard, so you can go ahead and do that.
Alright. Go to the rope shop or whatever. Buy some rope. And would they have any, like, climbing gear or anything?
I'll check. So I just rolled a nat 20.
Hey.
You asked it's a rickety old general store. They mostly sell sweets to little kids that come in with a copper piece or two. Occasionally a piece of lint, and he's kind-hearted. He lets them have them anyway. But you go in and you say, this is a nice rope here. Do you have any climbing gear? He says, just one moment. He goes over and he smacks the top of a countertop, and it just sort of folds out, and you see grappling hooks and pitons and and pretty much like, and he just looks at you, looking at all this stuff, and he shrugs and he says, "We live in the mountains."
I thought maybe there was a Bass Pro Shops or something next door I could go to. Just in, I want to get a grappling hook and guess whatever the guy would suggest.
Okay, so you're going to get whatever he suggests?
Well, I want to listen to what he suggests.
Okay.
I'll definitely get the grappling hook.
He suggests about 15 gold worth of gear, including the it's like a climbing pick with it's not a rubberized handle because rubber doesn't exist, so far as you know. But it's got an ergonomic grip to it. And it's got a coating around it so it's non-slip even if your hands get sweaty or anything like that. Not just regular rope, but he's got some silken rope that feels really good. So you're not gonna, like, if you slip on it, you're not going to get rope burn, which is a nice touch. The pitons are all monogrammed.
The initials don't match his, however.
Well,
Yeah.
give him
No,
an
no,
hour.
use one.
Come back in an hour, and he can
only
do
use
whatever
once.
you want.
Yeah.
That does cost a little bit extra, but he can get the monogram for you. Just in case, because if you encounter another climbing group, you don't want your pitons to get mixed up with their pitons, because then you start fighting back and forth, and then you got to crush their skulls, then you got to clean the blood off of your wrench, and that's a pain.
Does become a problem.
Yeah, so it's better to get them monogrammed.
Oh God.
So it's 15 gold for everything without the monogramming. With the monogramming, it'd be more like 18.
How much, in terms of carrying all this stuff? I mean, I know I'm strong, but is it going to add a lot more to my bag?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, if you look at everything he's recommended for you to go on a climbing trip in the mountains, you're not entirely sure that you'd be able to make the trip.
Yeah.
I mean, you can carry it, but you're talking an endurance run here.
Yeah. Tell you what, let me get the grappling hook. I'll pass on the rest for right now.
He sighs a little bit and says, "Okay," and he sells you the grappling hook.
Am I just sitting here with Ari, essentially, just waiting for him?
Yeah. I'm curious about his keep. However, you mentioned, Vex, that there were some instructions, perhaps? Something about what other quests were available from the man who paid Panqarim.
Yeah.
Would it be worthwhile to talk to him about what needs to be done and perhaps follow our instructions to the letter?
Possibly. My biggest concern isn't about us getting up there. And I just kind of look at Shepard. How are we
Okay.
getting help up there?
Shepard looks at you with his tongue hanging out of the right side of his mouth and smiles.
How are we getting what up where?
Because you said that, because we're assuming that there's possibly going to be an incline. And
Well, we don't know.
climbing required.
We don't.
If there is.
Yeah.
I just had
Like-
a vision
how
of
am I
everyone
getting the wolf
climbing.
up there.
I had a vision of everyone climbing up this sheer cliff. I'm not saying there is a sheer cliff, but I'm
Yeah.
saying this is in my mind. And as you watch each person climbing up, at the end we just have the rope continuing to trail down behind, and we see Shepard in a bit of a harness, just slowly rising up.
Oh, basket. There you go.
Would it be prudent to perhaps see if anyone else has recently been to Marwood Tower and perhaps inquire as to their journey, how it went.
Do I see any bartenders, waitresses, anything like that around?
The inn's proprietor, Pudge, is merrily serving food and drink to all who ask.
Give me a second. I get up and wander up to Pudge.
Hello, good sir. What can I do for you?
Hello, Pudge.
My
Do you
wife
know
isn't
anything
still
ab-
feeding your dog, is he? Is she?
I've kept
I'm
him away
sorry
from
about
her
that. I
because
really
he's
am.
getting a little chunky.
She just loves puppies. They're so cute to her. Isn't
Well, just as a reminder, he's not a dog, he has a wolf. So,
mostly the same thing. But what can I do for you?
do you know anything about an old Marwood? The Marwood Keep?
Oh, yes, Old Marwood Lake Forest. He's been there forever.
Lake Forest, did you say? Okay.
Yes, you do remember that was the name written on top of the quest.
Right.
They did say his name is Marwood Lake Forest.
Okay.
He lives in a tower up he sort of motions to the north. Like, he doesn't know the directions, but he gets the general idea. Been up there forever. There's a gnome that hangs out with him. What was his name? Fiddle
Punch?
Fiddle Pinch. Fiddle Punch, you're right. Fiddle Punch, yes.
Not so right. Getting up to the keep, how easy is it?
Oh, this time of year? I wouldn't want to go. Normally the kids go up and bother them in the summertime when the trails are a little bit more clear.
But there are trails up there.
Oh, yes. There's even stairs for the harder parts. But the winds, especially in the wintertime, the winds are pretty fierce. I wouldn't chance it with all that ice.
Okay. Thank you. You've been absolutely helpful, Pudge.
Not a problem.
Okay, toss him a silver.
He catches it deftly. And he is quite portly, so it's kind of... You're just a little amazed to see how quickly he snatches it out of the air and puts it in an apron pocket.
He's a business owner. I'm not shocked by this.
Okay. So Ponk, you got your grappling hook and you got your rope.
Okay.
And you come back to the inn. And you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. And you learn you didn't need either.
Don't need either.
Well, keep them for a future.
So, DM question, because we know climbing will not be required, will my natural explorer kick in at that point for difficult terrain?
Well, if it's as... Well, you've got two stories, because if this was springtime or summer, it would be easy because there's steps and everything. But game-wise, it's only been like 24 hours since the first blizzard of the season. If no one's gone and cleared those stairs, or if the stairs are coated in ice, it could still be difficult terrain. But no one in this inn has gone up there recently, so you can't ask around for that. Pudge suggested that it would be a problem.
I say we go for it.
Sure.
I'm game. I have spells that might be able to melt some ice. At least somewhat, perhaps clear the path.
He just casts Fireball every 30 feet.
If I had that many slots, I would. Instead, I'll use a flaming sphere.
Take about half a day to get there, so we should... What time is it now about?
By this point, it's around noon. You're guessing this because the inn's starting to get a little more full for the lunch rush.
I lagged a little there and actually missed what you said.
The inn is starting to get the beginnings of a lunch rush, so you're guessing it's close to midday.
We go now, he might let us rest there for the evening.
Or we can wait till tomorrow.
Wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd say rest and let's go tomorrow.
Okay. Bright and early then.
Okay, so the remainder of the day is for the most part uneventful. Ari, you return to the keep. You don't see Lord Idris around too much. You know he's in the keep dealing with things.
Yeah.
Just
Ari won't go seek him out for anything.
Okay, but you know that he is dealing with various things in regards to all the stuff you have to do when you're running a keep and a kingdom. Just from the side chatter you hear from various courtesans and staff and things like that.
Ari would like to, at least for the rest of the day, go check out the library, the one he's allowed in. I'm curious about the whole things don't stay dead situation, and he's going to attempt to try to research, like, how long has that been going on? What I got, because that to him is not normal behavior.
Okay.
No, I'm a little curious on that myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to decide what role that would be to see if you can find the right information. Considering the nature of this, I would say go ahead and have it be an Arcana check.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a 16 plus 6 is 22.
Okay, you happen to find a book called They're Coming to Get You, Barbara. The History of Coomridge, the Last 100 Years. So, to summarize the book in a very brief fashion, which isn't going to be so brief because a lot of stuff happens in 100 years. Roughly 100 years ago, and I'm being general. After something goes over a decade, you start rounding.
Right.
But roughly 100 years ago, any sentient creature that was dead and in the area of Coomridge, as well as the Gores, which is, as you know, the swamp that separates Coomridge from the rest of the world, basically just sprung up and started killing anything it could. Naturally, a lot of people saw this as a bad sign right before they themselves joined the zombie hordes. Fortunately, even back then, the Idris family was known for being powerful wizards. So members of the family, as well as a ragtag group of adventurers and a whole bunch of casual farmers with pitchforks, managed to persevere. And there was a lot of loss of life, but they managed to bring the zombies down. But that didn't end the curse. Anyone that died still came back. It was discovered that the main way of making sure they wouldn't was through cremation. You could dismember the corpse, but parts of it would still animate. And it was a bit random. If you cut the head off, sometimes the body would come back, sometimes the head would come back. There didn't seem to be a rhyme or reason for which parts animated. Some people assumed it would be whichever was the largest mass, but that wasn't always the case. And it wasn't always the part that had the brain in it.
Gotcha.
So
Go ahead.
yes. I'll ask your question.
Did this extend to Goresgate itself, or more or less limited to the swamp and Coomridge itself?
Well, Goresgate had some zombie attacks because
Right.
What would happen?
Well,
the zombies.
It happened in the swamp.
Yeah, it happened in the swamp, and well, this might be a game mechanic that you were interested in knowing. Zombies that left the Gores stayed animated.
Right.
Whatever is empowering these things exists in this area, but once it has empowered them, they can wander. Goresgate didn't get hit as hard because it didn't have as many dead bodies in the swamp at that time.
Did this affect the reach as far as Clear Spring that we know of, or was it?
Oh, yes, it was all of Coomridge. Matter of fact,
so
even
even
the dwarves had an issue because they
Up
like to
an
bury the
ore
dead in
strike.
tombs, so their tombs were full of undead dwarves.
got it. So yeah, that went over well.
It did. It was smashing.
Yeah.
In some cases, literally.
So this affects, at least, if anything else, seems to at least be settled in the valley here, around the mountains of this part of the continent, and extends at least as far as the Gors itself, but not beyond Gors Gate.
This is true. A matter of fact, once you get out of the swamp into the town of Gors Gate, anything that dies in Gors Gate stays dead. But if you take a dead body into the Gors, it will animate within 1 to 3 days, or 1 to 6 days. It varies.
If
Even
the body
if they don't die there?
If you have a body that died elsewhere and you bring it into the area where this curse exists, it animates. And if you take the zombie down, as you know, if you don't cremate it, it will come back again.
Still comes back again. The age of the body makes no difference then. The body could have died outside of that area a century ago, being nothing more than a skeleton, and still animate.
Yes, and actually in the original instance where all this happened, there were also a lot of skeletons that came back as well.
Right.
Because that was
older
also
bodies that were just nothing left.
Nowadays it's mostly just zombies because, well, unless you're dealing with some powerful magic or you tried to cremate it and it didn't do such a good job, there's gonna be zombie flesh around that skeleton.
Okay. My question is, and I'm wondering is, it's not a direct question, but something formulating in Ari's mind is, okay, if the goblins killed these soldiers and people, did they leave the bodies behind for them to rise as zombies? Do the goblins know about this effect? Does the shaman know about this effect?
Give me a wisdom check.
12 plus 1 is 13.
What's your passive perception?
13.
You know what? Yeah, I'll give you that.
I'm trained in perception.
So the notes that you gathered from what you assume was the shaman's lair,
Right.
also
potion she was
included notes about dead things coming back. She
Yeah.
was surprised by this. It was through these notes that you also discovered that she was female.
Yeah.
Because you didn't see enough of her to know male or female.
Right.
There were some boy goblins that the were kind of cute, and she wanted to sit next to them at even feast. But there were flowers drawn around their names. There was one page of notes that was just her name with various last names written over and over again in different kinds of lettering styles. But whatever. I'm not going to judge.
Yeah. And Ari's not going to care.
That too.
They're goblins.
So the goblins did not know in advance that when they came here, anything they killed that was sentient would come back. It was a bit of a surprise to them. They adapted kind of sort of to it. She devoted a little bit of research into it. But was more focused on trying to get a type of healing potion that would stretch her alchemical supplies as much as possible, because she didn't know if she'd ever get any of those again.
Right.
So that was her main focus, but they didn't know about it in advance. They did know about it at the time you killed most of them, but they weren't really doing anything about it. It was just like, oh, we can kill these things twice. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I wanted to learn.
Okay. Also, one other thing that you've noticed, that was noted in this book, is after the initial outbreak, that was when the reigning lord, Idris, who, let me look at my notes.
current one is Ardent.
Yes, the current one is Ardent. The original Lord was actually named Lord Ardent Idris, but he was Lord Ardent Idris the First.
Yeah, this one was the 4th, wasn't he?
The third, but
Third.
they're not all. Not everyone in succession has been given that name.
Right. They skip a couple of generations.
Yeah, it's every now and then one of them says, my grandfather was kind of a cool guy. Why not?
Yeah.
But at that point, the reigning lord pretty much abandoned his research into magical flowers because that was cool and they liked it. But zombies eating their citizenry was a bit more important.
Just slightly.
Yes, and actually handed over the reins to the kingdom to his son. And that has become the tradition where the patriarch of the family hands all of the duties of reigning over Coomridge to his heir, and then focuses all of his magical skill and research ability into trying to find the cause of and ways to prevent this curse.
Not to resolve or cure it?
Yes, and anything they can possibly do. And they've made
Gotcha.
some headway. They've learned some things. This book doesn't go over everything that they've covered. It's basically it's more of an overview.
It's a generality. So how long has this exactly been going on? The full 100 years? 80 years? 60 years?
The tradition of the leader handing over everything to the heir?
No, when did the zombie apocalypse start?
Roughly 100 years ago.
Okay.
If you want to be precise, it was like 103 years, 3 months, 4 days.
Ari would
5
look up
minutes.
for the date, but the player doesn't. 100 years is close enough, and that's all Vex and Panq are going to care about.
Yeah, exactly. Once you've gotten to a century, a year or two, like the 100 Years' War was not 100 years long.
Yeah.
It was like 107 or so.
Oh, I've written all of this down.
Okay, so the good news is, while I'm not quite sure I'm going to remember everything I just told you the same way, we also know Akari's handwriting. So if I say something different, it might not get caught in the lie.
I wrote some notes down here as well.
Darn. Okay, good.
The current Lord Idris, is he married? Does he have an heir?
Yes, he actually has 2 children, a boy and a girl. They are both relatively young. They're like under 10. You've seen them playing in a courtyard here and there.
Where
you do
is
not
the
know
mother
their names.
around?
Yeah, they have a mom. You don't know really anything about her. You and the royal family don't have meals together.
No, I wouldn't expect so.
Yeah. Your meals, you do eat with company, but they're various courtiers and stuff like that.
Other courtesans. Ari would have been curious once he saw that how they transfer their leadership, I didn't, on a player level, I didn't know if he was married or not, but now we know he has a wife and children. And when his son becomes of age, or decides that Lord Idris decides he's tired of ruling and wants to go full on magical research, he'll transfer the ownership whenever that happens.
Traditionally, what it's been is upon the death of the patriarch.
That's
when the heir takes up the reins of doing all the magical research. Now, they have some training in that in advance. They're not going, I guess this is my life now. Okay, so step 1.
I wanted to be a dentist.
They pull out a pamphlet and says, so your kingdom is invaded by zombies.
Yeah. Step 1, become a wizard. I don't want to be a wizard.
Yeah, but as you already know from your dealings with Lord Idris, he's a decent wizard. Okay, so that's what you've been doing.
That's what he'll do for the afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, for the rest of the afternoon until bedtime.
Okay, Vex and Panq, what do you do in your remaining hours? That sounded more ominous than it should have been.
Yeah, Panq is probably going to maybe try training. Is there any kind of like a combat training area or anything?
You do know that
Fight
there is
Club.
a guard barracks.
Yeah. Okay.
The guard recruits, like the lowest ranking guards, tend to live in a barracks. Once they reach the rank of sergeant, they are allowed to live outside the barracks, especially the ones that end up, deciding to raise a family in addition to the wonderful life of a guard.
Okay.
But all the guards that are of bottom rank or just like this lifestyle do have a barracks, and there's a area outside the barracks where they congregate and train and
Okay.
stab straw dummies for a while.
Okay. The training dummies. Yeah.
They hit one, it spins around and smacks them in the back of their head.
Exactly.
One of them has a 70 written above it. Another one has a 60 written above it. There's an 80 written above one, and an 85.
We need a. So,
There's a strange red symbol painted on them. That looks...
He's just going to kind of go check that out and use it. And then the other thing he's going to do is if there's any blacksmith shops in the town,
Oh yeah.
he's going to go just kind of check those out. He's not really talking to anybody. He's just kind of looking around. So sightseeing, basically. Just kind of gathering information.
Okay. There are a few blacksmith shops. The ones that look to be a bit more prosperous are run by dwarves. But there's one or two human blacksmith shops as well that do business because there's only so many hours in the day, and
Right.
it's a bustling town. So not everyone is gonna fork out the cash for a dwarven blacksmith to do their work. If it's something like, well, I just need a handful of nails. I'm not gonna waste a dwarf's time for that. Which is totally stereotyping, and that is bad, and they should feel bad about that. So that's dwarfist, really. But yeah, there's a few of those. The barracks area for where they do their practicing is pretty much open to the public, although most hours of the day most hours of the day it would normally be monopolized by guards.
Right.
But when you go and check it out, you don't see a whole lot of guards around.
All right. Yeah, he doesn't think he'd be welcome anyway. So
There is actually a sign posted about rules for public use. So it is made quite clear that, yes, if someone just wanted to try out hitting a dummy for a while, they would be able to. There's practice swords that are lined up on a wall somewhere with a little sort of ledge that goes over top of them so they don't get wet in the rain.
okay. Maybe he'll just maybe after he's kind of looked around the town, he may go back to the barracks and may just try practicing using the scimitar.
All the guards come back from guard duty to find all the guard dummies just like laying on the ground, hacked to bits.
Oops.
It's a +1 scimitar. It's not gonna. A straw dummy is not gonna be able to make a saving throw against that.
He'll throw down a couple coins to say, "There's get some new ones."
Oh, yeah, they'll go to the dummy shop, which is right next to the consignment shop.
Fred runs that one. Fred.
Oh, Fred, yeah.
The dummy maker. Yeah. So that's how he's going to spend his time. You can go over to Akari now.
I've got 3 things I want to do. One, and I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try it. I want to kind of channel with my deity, Sylvanas,
Okay.
and see if I can kind of just implore him to help me try and find this goblin through primal awareness to maybe expand the reach a little bit.
Who is your deity?
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas?
The god of wild nature.
So what you do is you kneel down and you lift your arms in the air and you enchant that eternal prayer that has been said in your family through generations. My life for Sylvanas.
lady watch over you.
West.
Pretty much. Okay, so you do that. I'm gonna roll a die. You're not sure if you've been hurt or not. I mean, you feel better for the effort, but you're not sure that you've been given a response or that you've been heard.
After a prayer, I will try the primeval awareness, see if I can just sense her within my range. Whether that's extended or not, I don't know.
You still sense no goblins.
Put some money in the collection plate. Maybe that'll help. So.
Yeah. Sylvanas just manifests and has a little box with a hole in the top of it. Gives it a shake, says, it feels a little light. Help a god out.
Considering he's not really from this dimension.
I know that's why I don't.
Although we already know that Obaim is still getting his prayers heard because he's able to renew his clerical abilities. So the gods of Faerun and the Forgotten Realms are able to influence this world to some extent, at least.
Wait, who does Obaim worship?
I want to say Bahamut.
Oh no, that was Fenix.
Fenix worship Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah. Was it Palor?
Or was it... Well, the Dwarven chief god normally is Moradin. Or
Moradin, Cleric, and Dumathoin would be the trinity. But I should look that up. I don't think that's what Eric said he had Obaim worshiping.
What domain, I guess, or what area does he channel his divinity through?
I think he went life domain.
I don't know who does that for the dwarven deities, honestly.
Third and final thing. I want to take notes in my notebook about all the people I've met in Cambridge and just put points about the ones I don't trust, but I want to write it in Undercommon. Because at least if I write it in Undercommon, there's only 3 people on this entire planet.
Well, 3 people, assuming that no one casts a ritual.
Yes.
Yes. Ari is starting to wonder about the religious implications of this zombie curse. Traditionally, in D&D mentality, clerics fight the undead. So, if there's
the local clerics were actually instrumental in stopping the initial surge, along with the ragtag group of adventurers and the royal family themselves. And since then, you know how if you have a chronic condition, like a chronic cough or any chronic illness or whatever, it does affect you, but you sort of get used to, well, this is just the way things are.
Yeah.
This is just the way things are in Coomridge.
After 100 years, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, matter of fact, this is actually why no one bothered to tell you in advance once you got to Coomridge, oh yeah, we have to cremate all of our dead, because if we don't do that quickly, they come back and eat us.
Yeah.
They just assumed that you knew.
Oh, you're going to Coomridge. Oh, by the way, no, we don't do that.
Well, the people outside in Gorsgate, they knew, but you sort of just passed through Gorsgate.
Yeah.
But people out past Gorsgate don't even pay attention to that for the most part. Now, there are some kingdoms that might have set their eyes on Gorsgate in the past, but it's really hard to send an army at them. Because right behind them is basically a zombie factory.
Right.
Most armies don't... The ground troops don't appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone give me a perception check.
9.
Was that an 18 or an 8?
18.
Okay.
Ari has rolled a 15 plus 3, 18.
Okay. So, Vex, as you're getting ready to go to bed, and you've had a late night of praying and writing notes, but as you go and snuff out the candle in your room, you get the feeling like you're being watched. And you look towards the window, and you're on the second floor. And you know, because you checked earlier, that there's not really a window ledge outside your window. It's a straight drop, and there's nothing really to grip on. You're pretty sure you see a pair of eyes.
I do reach for the dagger that I put under my pillow. I kind of whistle for Shepard to wake up.
While you're doing this, Ari gets a similar feeling in his chambers, and he looks over towards a very large window in your lavishly furnished room. After Idris's displeasure, he didn't have you moved into the servants' quarters.
His family is still powerful, or at least politically so, somewhere else.
Yes, and a trade deal would really, really, really benefit Coomridge. So he's upset, but he's not upset enough.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I get it.
He's more grateful that you were there to keep tabs.
You're right.
Just to clarify, we're unarmored right now, so we've just
you're
armor class
getting ready for
just
bed.
our dex modifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm unarmored pretty much all the time. So.
Pretty much. So you also look at your window and you see that's more than 2 eyes.
More than 2.
Yes. 3 or 4.
Would I
Yeah, would either of us know what this is?
Well,
obviously we don't know. Obviously we're away from each other, but
well, yeah, we're not in the same places.
Yeah, and I'm telling you this because of the rolls you made. Ponk is just like, all right, well, time for bed.
Yeah, I will definitely look at the eyes, see perhaps if I can make.
You gaze into the black void of your window, and the void gazes back.
I will attempt to cast the light cantrip, perhaps on whatever object may be outside there.
Okay, you do so.
And what occurs?
It was more than 4.
Uh-huh.
And they were just eyes. And as you cast your light cantrip, they sort of like, have you ever seen a swarm of flies and you try to swing your arm through them, or you swing something through it and they sort of like spiral around out of control for a little while and then go back to whatever pattern they were in?
Mm-hmm.
They do that around your light cantrip and then fly straight up in the air, out of view.
Would I know about scrying spells?
Roll an Arcana check.
Okay. So that is a 13 plus 6, 19.
Oh yeah, you know all about scrying spells. You want to scry on...
They're part of my school, so...
Yeah. I know your Arcana is really high, so it's like, well, let's do this a gimme. Give him an Arcana check. You know all about scrying spells. This did not look like they were the result of a scrying spell, because they looked like they were literally eyeballs with the nerve endings in the back of them, sort of like hanging down and flapping in the breeze.
That's what I caught when the light cantrip went off.
Yes, that's what you saw when the light cantrip
So they actually looked like floating eyes.
They were literally floating disembodied eyes.
Okay.
So a question then, with my dark vision, can I see that they're just floating disembodied eyes?
That's not creepy at all.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you do.
So I know right away that those are eyes.
Those eyes ain't got nobody. Nobody cares.
Would I click about the undead eyes?
What's
Would
this?
I put two and two together about the undead missing zombie eyes?
I'll leave that up to you.
Ari would if he knew about the undead thing missing eyes. But
A whole bunch of
I'm
undead
thinking-
things missing
I'm thinking
eyes,
I would,
and here's
yeah.
some eyes. Probably
Yeah.
I'd make the connection personally.
I'm thinking I would, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Just checking.
we could be wrong, but
So it's pitch black, so they're not doing the whole crazy flying away thing.
They are definitely staring right at you, though. And they see you seeing them.
Okay.
As you reach for the dagger under your pillow, one of the eyes turns to follow your movement. The other eye is staring just right at you, center of mass.
Cantrip, I might as well try it. They probably can't talk, but I'll try it. I cast friendship on the eyes. I cast friend on the eyes. Can they talk?
What does friendship do?
Friend, okay, gives me advantage on charisma checks with the target.
Okay.
So if they can talk and I'm asking questions, I get advantage on charisma checks for responses and things.
Okay. Well, then go ahead and give me a charisma check.
Okay.
And then tell me what you try to say to it.
I would like to ask, what are you? I got for that advantage. 15 plus my charisma, 16. I don't think they're gonna talk.
One eye goes to the left, the other eye goes to the right. They're out of view.
At least those are cantrips I used.
It's also right before a long rest.
Yeah, but still, I wouldn't want to use it. Oh! They're out of view.
Yes, you don't see them anymore.
I should have hunter's marked them. Oh no, the gnome. I book it to his room.
Okay. Ponk, I assume you lock your door at night?
Of course, I don't trust anybody.
Okay. The door is locked.
I just start banging on the door.
I will. Well, if I wake up, I'm grabbing the can opener. Who is it?
It's Vex.
What do you want?
At
Crazy.
this point, because you got up, I'm going to let you roll another perception check.
Okay. 10.
Okay, so the half-elf is making a lot of noise and preventing you from getting your beauty sleep.
I'm not happy. I will wander over and open the door. What?
As the door opens, do I see out his window? Do I see eyes?
You don't see any eyes out his window. However, this is a different room on a different side of the inn, and you do see a ledge on the other side of his window.
Disembodied floating eyes outside my window. Second floor. Second I looked at them, they floated off in different directions.
Okay. This is what you woke me up for?
Put two and two together here. Zombies with missing eyes. Eyes flying around outside windows.
Dogs and cats living together.
mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Alright, see, Punk's still just, like, kind of groggy. So he's like, alright, so,
Does he need you to check under his bed for eyes?
No, I was making sure there weren't any creepy eyes outside your window staring at you while you slept.
Alright, I guess I appreciate that. Can I walk over to my window and take a look?
It's your room. You can walk wherever you want.
Alright, I'm going to walk over to my window and take a look.
Okay. So you walk over to your window and give me a perception check with advantage because you're looking hard and you're grumpy.
12.
Okay. So you go over to the window and you throw it open. Cold winter air comes in and you see no eyes. Akari.
Alright.
I'm sorry. Does Vex come over to the window also?
Yes.
Okay. You give me a perception check with advantage.
I'm gonna use my... Oh, never mind. I was gonna say I'll use my inspiration, but I'll just take the advantage.
Well, at this point, Ponk is like, look, there's no eyes, and this is becoming personal.
Natural 20.
Okay, so there's some gore splatter. Like eye fluid, a little bit of blood on the windowsill. It looks like something was there and dripping for a little while.
Turn his head to the gore blood. They were watching you too.
Okay.
There's a bit of a sizzling sound coming from it.
Is it like is there some way we could take like a sample of it or scrape it off or something? I don't know what we'd hold it in, but
If you're gonna do that, you gotta do it quick because it's melting the snow that was on the ledge and diluting heavily and like.
oh, all right.
Do you have any glass? Do you have any glasses on your? Is there any glasses around?
I'm sure I got an empty mug sitting there somewhere. I'll go grab like an.
You did bring some souvenirs upstairs from the bar.
Okay. I want to see if I can some of it off into the mug.
You
Some
do
of the
so.
blood and all that. Okay.
The mug is now half full of snow and what you assume are eyeball drippings.
Okay. Because I want to keep that so that maybe we can have Ari take a look at it.
I'm not going to require you to roll for this, but you get the feeling, based on previous experience with half-full tankards, that you might want to label this in some way, so that you don't just, wake up in the morning and take a sip.
Eye juice.
I feel like I'm gonna just take this and we'll.
Yeah, it'd probably better just
We'll deal with it in the morning.
Want to label it somehow. I'm saying this personally because as someone who's classically trained as a visual artist, you don't put your coffee cup next to your paint water. Bad things have happened in the past.
I've seen it happen with chewing tobacco. So.
I ain't gonna drink the eyeball snow mix.
Do I gain superpowered vision? No, but what I want to do is I want to have, when we meet up with Ari, I want to have him take a look at it and see if he can do his magical stuff on it.
Hey Ari, check this stuff out.
Do I
It tastes awful. Here, try it.
Yeah. No! I'll take your word for it.
Why do humans do that? Seriously, if someone says, "Whoa, what stinks?" Why does everyone in earshot just take a deep breath?
Yeah.
Hey, this tastes horrible. You want some? No!
Exactly.
I take the vial away to make sure he doesn't drink it in the middle of the night.
Yeah. And if there's nothing else, he's going to go back to bed. But he will keep can opener under his pillow.
Keep an eye out.
You actually need to ask room service for an extra pillow. Otherwise, it doesn't fit under the pillow very well.
All right. And then just right next to the bed.
As a precaution, I put my armor back on and then go to sleep.
Okay.
I ain't dealing with that.
Okay. And Ari, did you choose to do anything after the eyes flew away?
No. He sent them. His light spell sent them off. He's not exactly equipped to chase flying eyes, so he makes kind of more of a mental note. We'll probably discuss it with the others in the morning, but otherwise continues his preparations for bed. Occasionally checking out the window again to make sure nothing has returned. Other than that, no, if they want to watch an old man sleep, he's not too worried.
Okay. For the rest of the evening, every creak and groan and settling of the castle has you a bit on edge. You think you see a giant scarecrow-clawed hand reaching towards you in the night. It turns out there's a tree outside your window that's sort of just moving in the breeze a little bit. There's a creepy clown doll in the corner of your room.
Burn it! Burn it down!
I'd do that anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Burning hands, set it afire. I don't know how that happened.
Did I ever
Lord
tell
Eater's
you I have
children
a
now
phobia
have
of
one
clowns?
less toy.
Clowns are not no.
Oh, genuinely, I have a phobia of clowns. I watched the original It movie when I was a kid, and that was it.
Poltergeist did it for most folks of our age.
They're here.
Yeah, and then that's enough. No, if there's a clown thing, he would just toss it outside his room. Clearly, it was some toy of the children, but
Would burn it. Burn it to the ground.
Ari is
You
not
move
that
the
superstitious.
headstones.
You hear little footsteps walk away after you set it outside. Children's laughter.
If I hadn't known there were children present, that would be creepy.
That's so creepy. Okay.
That was not canon, by the way. The doll does not get up and walk away. There was no doll in your room.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a switch on the back. Good, evil.
Yes!
You see, you had this thing set to evil.
Yes.
Listen.
The cause of and solution to all of life's problems
Yep.
is currently filling a half-full mug that used to have ale in it. Okay, so I think at this point we're going to put a pin on this and continue next week with another round of adventuring.